Hi guys, Chef Kevin Belton here. I want to help you make Saturday night a wonderful night. Now I don't know if you all love chicken like I do. I want to show you today one of the ways that I like to make a roasted chicken. Now sometimes I'll even do this with a turkey if you want. But what I want to start with, I've got some little new potatoes, and all I've done with them, I've just cut them in half, okay? You can do this with any type of potato you want. Now, as you can see, I just have them in the bowl, okay? Just broke them up, put them in the bowl. Now, this is something where sometimes I actually put the potatoes underneath the chicken and put the chicken right on top of it. But today I'm going to do a little different. I'm going to take a little olive oil. I'm going to take a little garlic powder, a little bit of my Creole seasoning, a little pinch of salt, and something else I'm going to throw in here. I'm going to throw in some whole garlic cloves, because why not roast a little garlic at the same time? Now all we have to do is give this a nice little toss, stir this around, make sure you have enough olive oil on the potatoes, because we're going to put this oven and make these roasted potatoes as our chicken cooks, okay? Oh baby, look at that. There you go, just nice and mixed in. Now, we're doing rosemary in the chicken, and I have a little diced rosemary if you want. You can take a little fresh rosemary and put on the potatoes so they have that flavor as well. You can do a little parsley or cilantro in here. Take yourself a pan, dump the potatoes in, and that's the name of that tune. So I like to go ahead and roast these in the oven. I don't know about you, but I like my potatoes where they're kind of charred, not charred, but they've got that little crisp edges on them. So I cook them and roast them till they're a little dark around the edges, because I just like that. That's just a little longer in the oven, that's all. So I'll put these in the oven in a little bit. But let me show you what I'm going to start with on this chicken. I have an onion here, and I'm going to just cut the onion, top and the bottom off, cut it in half. Now, you know, normally we throw this away, but I'm going to save this, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it. I'm going to take off the outside skin on both of them. And you notice, I'll get rid of the fine outside, but I'm going to keep the other inside. You know, a lot of times in restaurants, you save everything that you trim off and use that for stock. So here, we're just going to give the onions a nice little thin slice, turn it up on its side, slice it again, so we don't have to worry about dicing this. This is going to be the bed in the bottom of our chicken in the pan. So I have our pan here. All we're going to do, throw our onions in. Now remember I mentioned those potatoes. If you want, you could throw the potatoes, put your onions down, throw the potatoes on top of them, all right? I've done carrots. I've done like, if you like turnips and things like that, go ahead and throw that down in there. So now that we've got this done, let me show you what else I have here. So I've diced up, I've got some rosemary, some minced garlic, and a little bit of lemon zest, okay? And I also have some lemon juice from those lemons. I ground some fresh black pepper. I have a little kosher salt. All right, slide over here. Now, I've let butter sit out, okay, and get room temperature. You guys are going to have the recipe for this, all right? But in the recipe, I say melt the butter. But if you have time, you can let the butter sit out and just get room temperature. Now, I have a little bit of this left over because you know I have a chicken in the oven. So basically, what this is, we're going to put a little salt in this. We're going to put a little bit of black pepper in this. A little bit of Creole seasoning. And now we're going to put in the minced garlic, the rosemary, and the lemon. That lemon zest. You know, if you don't have a zester, it's really neat to have because they work so good. And look, all we're going to do is just kind of mash this up, stir this together, because this is going to get, did y'all see that? This is going to get smeared onto the chicken, and we're going to smear it under the skin. And you know, this is, if you want, You can make an herbed butter like this, all right? Get you some herbs. Take that butter, let it get soft, all right? Put a little honey in it if you want, and then put it in a little container, put it back in the fridge to firm up, and now you have an herbed butter. But look at that, all right? That's all that is. Softened butter, the rosemary, the garlic, salt, pepper, little Creole seasoning, all right? And the lemon zest, all right? So now, it's time that we bring over the star of the show. Come on, you guys move out of the way. Ta-da, our chicken. Now, basically, I've taken our chicken, and all I've done to him is I patted him dry. I took a paper towel, wiped him dry, top, bottom, inside, outside. Also, reach inside the chickens, because sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. There'll be a little bag inside that'll have the liver and the gizzards, okay? Now, what Mom used to do with that, Mom used to take that from the chicken, cut the livers and gizzards out, put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze it. And after she'd have 3 or 4 of the bags with the livers and gizzards, then she would make dirty rice with that, because that chicken liver gives that flavor, and that's what makes the rice nice and dirty. What we're going to do with our bird is we're going to go ahead on the inside. We're going to pick him up. We're going to go in with some black pepper down in there. We're going to go in with some salt down on the inside. And you remember those things that we saved, like the onion skins? I'm going to use this to block off the other end. So just go ahead and stick that all the way down in there. Come on, baby, get all the way down. We can put the onion skin in here. I have the stems that I took the rosemary off. Let's just go ahead and throw this in here as well. Plus, I have some with the rosemary still on it. Just stuff that on in there. We're going to put some whole garlic cloves. And you're wondering, hey, what's going to happen in this? Basically, you know, you can flavor from the inside as well as the outside. Everybody puts things on the outside, but this is going to impart a flavor on the inside. If you like a little something different, do some apples. I've cut apples in half and put apples down inside the chicken, or oranges if you like. Here, we're going to take that lemon. We zested the lemons, then I saved the juice, and we're going to get this down inside. Oh, come on, baby. Get in there. All right, there we go. Now we have our chicken. All nice. He's fluffed up on the inside. And I want to show you, you know, when you truss a chicken, basically trussing a chicken is tying it up for it to cook, where it kind of cooks evenly. It doesn't splay apart, so it all cooks evenly. This is a new method a friend showed me, and I hope I remember how to do it and I can pull it off for you. So we have our twine, okay? Now, we start by sliding the twine underneath the chicken, okay? We're going to come around to this backside. Make sure it's kind of even. Yeah, we're fairly even. Come around to the back, and you see, normally a lot of times folks don't do this. If we don't tie it here, as it bakes, the skin comes up, exposing the breast, and the breast can dry out. So we don't want that to happen. So just go ahead and take that skin, make a crisscross, so that skin is there to hold it in tight. All right, just pull that tight. Come on around the front. Well, let's come under the wings. There we go. We come under the wings, then we come around to the bottom butt. Take that bottom, pull it low tight, all right? Now we're gonna go over the legs, flip it over, okay? Once we flip it over, we're gonna come here, 1, 2, 3 times, pull this down, pull it kind of, oh, you came out. See that happens, that's all right. I just wanna hold it right here for it to hold right there. We'll make another little knot, come on, baby. There we go. Now all we have to do is trim this off. All right. Now, let's get to where now we can start seasoning our bird. All right? And this is where it can get a little messy, but that's okay. All right? Let's take a little salt. Salt it real good. We're going to take some of that black pepper. And remember that butter? Take this butter and just smear it. Smear it on the bottom, all right, under the wings. Get in those little cracks and crevices, all right? Now, let's turn him over. Take your fingers and try not to tear the skin, but you want to go underneath the skin. Now, if you don't have a big hand, you can always take like a wooden spoon and stick the spoon handle in there. But every once in a while, I tear it. But see how that loosens up? See my finger under there? All right. Now, you know what's going to happen. We're going to take some of this, shove it in. Come on, baby, get in there. It doesn't want to go. Come on, I see you trying to sneak out of that. And see, now we can just take our fingers on the outside and push that all the way back in there. See that? That's putting some flavor down inside. So imagine the flavor we have already in the cavity of the chicken. Now we're going to have more flavor up on top of that breast to keep those moist, all right? So now, and gang, I'm touching raw chicken. We need to salt the top. Now, this salt that I'm using, I'm going to toss it because I don't want to use salt that had raw chicken in it. So I'm going to toss that little bit of salt. You might have a little extra. You can always, if you have somebody in the kitchen with you, they can always add a little more salt that you're going to put on, but don't touch raw chicken. Go into the salt, season it, and then put that salt back in the container because you contaminate everything, okay? So now let's take the rest of this and just smear it on the top. Put that baby right on the top. Oh, yeah. Now, the oven, I like to start the oven at 475 degrees. And I know that's really high, but at 475 degrees, that heat will seal it right quick. After 15 minutes, I turn it down to 350 and just let it go from there. A good rule of thumb is pretty much 20 minutes a pound for your chicken, okay? Or if you have a candy thermometer, an internal temperature of 165 degrees. But if you notice the way we tied it, our legs kind of stick out a little bit to where they're not in, and we'll have more of a crispy skin area. A lot of times I turn the chicken over and do it breast down because all the juices from the dark meat now run into the breast and they stay nice and moist. So if you want, start it breast up, and when you turn the oven down, take it out and flip it over, breast down. Now, this won't be crispy, but I tell you what, the flavor will be immaculate. So now let's go ahead and take this. There we go. Put it in our pan. And now we just have to wash really good. Oh, look at some of our stuff came off the bottom. But you know what? That's okay. We can just put it right here on the top because it's going to run down. It's going to melt to the bottom once it starts baking. All right. Make sure you wash your hands real good, especially when you're dealing with raw poultry. And I didn't wash the chicken. I didn't wash it. I just pulled it out, toweled it off right away, okay? And I have a little water with bleach in it that I'm going to go ahead and sanitize my counter with after I wash it. So now this is ready to go into the oven. Now I have one in the oven. That's why the oven is at 350 and not at 375. I mean at 475. But here, let me show you what I have in there right now. Come on, baby. Oh, yeah. I tell you what, I'm going to wait a second. I'm going to wait a little bit. Ooh. I'm going to turn the oven up. Give it a chance to reach back to that temperature. Come on. There we go. Come on. There we go. Boom. All right. Start. All right. Now, we'll deal with this. I'll get this in after that preheats after a little bit. When the chicken is cooking, check on it periodically. If it starts to brown off too quick on you, go ahead and tint it with a little foil. You can put the lid on or just tint it with a little foil because that way you don't want it to brown too quick on it. But let me pull this one over. Here, come here. You slide right here right quick. Let me pull this over so Monica can get a shot of it. Gang, I don't know. I have to show you. Our executive producer is over there. Look at our executive producer working so hard. All right? I'm surprised she didn't jump up because I took the chicken out of the oven and smelled it. Can you look down in there? See all of that goodness down in the bottom? You know, one of the things that makes the French chicken so good is the fact that they use fat. They'll use goose fat, they'll use duck fat, and one of the keys to a great chicken soup is the fat. So you can take all of these juices that came out of the chicken and that butter and go ahead and use that as the base for a nice chicken soup. The only other thing I'm going to do with this before I put it in the oven, remember those lemons we zested and squeezed? This is the lemon juice. I'll pour this lemon juice right over the top and get that baby in the oven, all right? But look at this. This is going to be so tender. Now, when you take it out of the oven, this needs to rest for at least 10 minutes before you try to carve it, okay? Just follow your twine, all right, to cut it loose, and just cut right in the joints and it'll come right apart. Now, if you have any leftover, let me tell you something. You can go anywhere from chicken tacos to chicken salad to chicken soup to just a chicken sandwich to a chicken omelet. What else am I missing, Monty? Okay, my wife is giving me this look like
chicken pot pie.
Chicken pot pie. All right. Basically, if there's any left, use that. Now, I tell you what else. This is going to be very tender. If it comes off the bone as I think it's going to come off the bone, save those bones. Now, I have it in a Dutch oven. A Dutch oven is nice and heavy. If you don't have a Dutch oven, just use a roasting pan. You can even put it on a sheet pan, but just remember, you're going to have a little juice in the bottom, so maybe foil up the sides a little bit so it catches any juices that run off, okay? So the Dutch oven just holds that heat in really good. That's why I'd use a Dutch oven, but you could just use a regular baking pan if you want. And I forgot what I was going to say. I was going somewhere with this. And, the bones. Take the bones, put them on a sheet pan. Kick your oven on to about 375. Roast those bones in the oven, okay? Just throw them on a sheet pan, 375 for about 30 minutes. Take those bones, then put them in some stock and make yourself a soup. Because now those bones will give you such a great flavor and a depth of flavor in that stock. And roasting them just pulls out all that flavor. So even if you don't want to make it right away, save your bones, go ahead, put them in the freezer. Just like if you have a ham bone, take that ham bone, stick it in the freezer until you get ready to make some beans or some soup. So I hope this helped. You see how easy this is, all right? Just remember, you can put some great things on the inside, you rub it on the outside, and it comes out nice and golden brown. And I tell you what, Cookie is going to have a way with this in a little bit. Our potatoes, roughly, I'm not going to put the potatoes in until I put the oven at 350, all right? Now, if you want to try to time it so they both come out at the same time, the potatoes take about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on, like you said. I like those little crispy edges. I go about 45 minutes on the potatoes. So you can put your potatoes in, time your chicken before your chicken comes out. That way they both come out at the same time. So I hope this helps. I hope you guys are staying safe. You know, thank all you doctors and nurses and first responders and grocery store workers and all those folks. I tell you what, we love y'all. We hope to see you soon. For WWL, I'm Chef Kevin Belton, and have yourself a fantastic Saturday afternoon.